Hi, and welcome to today's video of the day, Edge Finder. An edge finder is a tool, very precise, used to accurately locate the edge of a workpiece so you can set your X and Y zero coordinates. For example, bottom left, bottom right, top right. Mastering the edge finder is one of the first essential skills every machinist learns on a conventional mill. So, stick around with me as I show you how to use an edge finder.
You first want to set up your workpiece inside the vise. Do this by placing your workpiece on a set of parallels, such that the workpiece sits slightly above the vise jaws. Once it sits on these parallels, you want to tighten that vise and give it a couple hammer taps to ensure that the part is sitting flush on the parallels. Now you have set up your workpiece. Next, you want to set up the edge finding tool in the spindle. Most edge finders are 3/8 of an inch, so you want to grab the collet associated with 3/8 of an inch. Then you're going to snap that collet into the collet holder as shown. Then begin to feed the collet holder into the spindle via the thread. Once it's slightly tight, or once you've caught the thread, you want to put the edge finder into the spindle and tighten until it's hand tight. Now that it's hand tight, you want to depress the spindle brake, grab your ER32 tightening tool, and tighten it. Next, you want to change the speed of your spindle. Do this by first turning on your spindle and then moving the lever. You want to ensure that the speed when running your edge finder is between 800 and 500 RPM. To edge find, you first want to move the table Z up such that the edge finder rests slightly below the part. Then you want to feed in your X-axis as shown in the video. This will linearize the edge finder as shown in the video. Once it becomes not linear, right here, we know that that is your edge. Do this a couple times to make sure. Once you find that edge, you want to set that as your 0 in the DRO. The radius of the edge finding tool is 0.1 inches. We therefore must take this into account when doing our 0. So we move it 0.1 inches and 0 it again. Next, we will repeat this process with the y-axis. Remember, your first step is to move the Z table down, up, or the quill down, such that the edge finding tool rests slightly below your workpiece. Then, turning your spindle on, you want to slowly feed towards the work part in the y-axis. We will continue this until it jumps off as shown in the video. Repeat this a number of times to ensure you have an accurate reading. Here, once it jumps off, we're going to set this as 0 by pressing the button as indicated. Bingo. Then you want to remove your quill so it comes back up. Turn your spindle off. And then you always want to account for the 0.1 inch radius of the edge finding tool. So feed your tool in the y-axis 0.1 inches and re-0. You can see that now the center line of the tool is aligned with the edge of the workpiece. You want to reset this as your 0 by pressing the button again.
Great, so now that we ran the steps, you should successfully be able to touch off your part with an edge finder. And as a quick recap, an edge finder is a quick, accurate tool for locating the edge of your workpiece on a manual mill. You install it in the spindle, you spin it between 500 to 800 RPM, and you slowly advance the table until the tip kicks off the center. When it lightly touches the edge, the center of the spindle is then exactly 0.100ths away from the edge for a standard 0.200 edge finder. You set your DRO with the hand wheel either by subtracting or adding 0.100. Again, thanks for watching. I'm Chris, and remember, always clean up after yourself and wear your PPE.